Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. This is a little different because Bill with Tanya was actually scheduled for yesterday, but I don't know how many of you yesterday reminded me of when I used to go and spend time at my Aunt Blanche's house, who is like, you know, a muddier of a family. And if there was a thunderstorm, she would have everybody unplug everything, right? So I'm not that bad, but we had some, pretty funky weather on yesterday, and I didn't think that the coverage would be good as far as the Wi-Fi, and I didn't want to be up there with all the thunder and lightning. So I am here today to talk to you guys about what we would have talked about on yesterday. So hello, good evening. I hope you are well. Give me just a moment. I'm actually sharing this to another platform. You guys see in the title, I want to talk about the fact that there are many ways to get to six figures. There are a lot of different ways, numerous ways to get to six figures and beyond in your business. And we can hustle our way to six figures. We can do it by any means necessary where we're overwhelmed and uncertain. We can do it where as long as we get there, even if it takes us 5, 10, 15 years, there are just so many different ways to get to that six-figure mark. And I know six figures is like a buzzword for most people. But what I found with my clients is once people reach at least that six-figure mark, a lot of things change in their life, like consistently reaching that six-figure mark, a lot of things change in their life. The things they can do for their family, their ability to feel comfortable about hiring. Although, I believe that even before getting to six figures, depending on what you have going on, it may be time to get you some help, before six figures. But there are a lot of ways to get to six figures. And I want to talk about how 3D Success Academy, I'm the founder of 3D Success Academy for Women in Business. I want to talk about how we help clients to get there on this evening. So if you come in on the replay, say hello. If you are here live with me, also say hello in the comments. Let me know where you rock out at. How does your business serve in the marketplace? How do people get to experience your gifts? If it isn't your first time, just put hashtag renew. It's the name of my consulting businesses. Also what we do all the time. We're consistently renewing our minds so that we can transform our lives, continue to evolve and transform our lives. And so I want to talk about 3 specific things that I actually think are super, super important. But before I get into that, as you come on and as you're watching, and you may see this VIP across my hat, every time you think about that, as you're watching, I want you to understand that you are VIP. And I say that because so many people are sitting on things that are major, that they may be a life experience or something they've overcome that they overlook because, maybe it seems small to you, or maybe it doesn't seem like it would be something that's valuable. Maybe you've been, in circumstances and situations in your life that left you not feeling that important. But you are a very important person. And it's one of the biggest things you have to understand as you're building your business and your brand online, just the value that you bring, that you are VIP. You're a very important person in the scheme of all of this. I was thinking about how, sometimes when I'm listening, so what I do a lot in just my normal daily routine, in between coaching with my clients or my group coaching sessions inside the academy, a lot of times I'm listening to podcasts and trainings or someone else. And it's so often that I'll hear things that I used to think were like really, really simple, Like, why would anyone pay me for that? That a lot of people don't know. And it's not that it's because I know it that makes it so special. It's just not something that people know. And you have something that you're taking for granted in your experiences, in your life, your level of expertise, and what you've learned. That's very important. That makes you a very important person to somebody. And your goal is to get clear on what that thing is. We're going to talk about that this evening. And then who are those people that consider you a very important person because you have some type of solution that they need for their life or their business. And so as you're watching tonight and you see VIP, I want you to just remind yourself that you are VIP. You are a very important person in the scheme of this. And you just have to find where you fit, where your gifts fit in the scheme of this, where the value that you bring in the marketplace fits, which leads me into some of the ways that we help people get to their six-figure mark. It's really important. I often share with clients to get clear on that thing that you can do and earn a minimum of six figures on before moving on, to something else, like create a solid foundation for it. And one of the ways we help clients to do that is through branding. Now, branding is my baby. I can't move away from it. It's a part of everything that I do and everything I work with my clients. And for most, when they hear the word branding, they automatically think pictures, websites, logos, things of that nature. That's more of the creative art that aligns with your brand. And so the branding that I teach is more from an internal space, right? And so you understanding the internal makeup of your brand is going to help you in this process. So it's so much information, guys. It's a lot of information out there. And sometimes we can feel as if we're doing what's necessary because we're in consumption mode. But where you're going to get your best conversion, right? Where you're actually getting the results for the goals and things that you desire is when you are actually creating. And I can't find any better way than to create from who you really are, which is what your brand is. Your brand is how the marketplace sees you, and you're determining that, we're determining that, all the time. And I think one of the hardest things that it is to do in the social media space, especially if you're building a personal brand. Now, I help businesses build their business brands as well. Many of my clients have businesses that they're branding. They're setting up systems in case they want to sell it later. But at the end of the day, it's all branding. And it's an internal thing, right? It's this thing that you create from the inside, not from what's going on outside of you. And it can be difficult with social media because so many people have opinions and they have their way of doing things. And we all have different beliefs and values and things that we believe in. And, so often we're attempting to make what we're building work for everybody. And it's a huge problem. So we find ourselves all over the place or, not sharing our truths. I believe that we should have, etiquette with different things, but there's some things that are really heartfelt to you that are in alignment with who you are as a brand that will attract your perfect people. So one of the ways that we help women in business to create businesses that they love, for one, but definitely reach their six-figure marks with greater ease is through getting really clear about who they are as a brand. And it's this internal thing. One of the first things we do in the academy is we go through this track called Destiny by Design. And it's when we're getting clear, right? When you think about someone who wants to brand what they're doing, it's something that they want to do long-term. They want long-term sustainability on what they're building. And that's the space that we approach everything when working with clients. So branding is one of the ways that we help clients to reach their six-figure mark. Their brand clarity differentiates them from the crowd. So there are a lot of people who do what you do. There are a lot of people who do what I do, but there are not a lot of people that do it the way you do it. If you would authentically stand up and show up in the space of who you are, like it really is okay. Now, again, I say there is etiquette for everything, but your perfect people, your VIP people are waiting on you. They're waiting on you to show up within your brand so that they can differentiate your thing from everybody else's. And, I speak about it a lot because I understand, how difficult people may find it online to really find their own thing, find their unique thing that makes them, who they are. One of the brands I love to share with my clients when we're talking about branding is Tom Shoes. And I remember the shoe from many years ago now. My daughter and my cousin both liked the shoe. And I just thought it was the worst shoe. Like, what's so cute about the shoe? But it was very popular. And Tom Shoes has done really, really well. And mainly because of how distinct, the brand Tom Shoes is, the cause, what they stand for, how they give back in the community. So when people are purchasing the shoes, they feel connected to a cause. And for you, that may be your story or your messaging. And maybe you have been sharing your story, but maybe not in a way that it's relating to the people that you actually want to give value to. So we help you, identify brand clarity, get like really, really clear. That brand clarity, guys, is going to cause a tremendous shift in the conversion rates that you get from clients, and also in the process of you building your brand. So branding is one of the huge ways that we help clients getting really clear and identifying who they are as a brand, and then who their perfect people are. Sometimes I'll have something on my heart that I really want to share. And I'll have to ask myself, is this in alignment with your brand? Is this in alignment with even my faith-filled assignment? And even then I'll have to, go and pray about it, because I'll understand that, it'll be a little controversial, or, maybe it's going to rub some people the wrong way. But I promise you, it's going to do two things when you're able to really stand up fully in who you are and show up in that, and have it in alignment with, how you're branding your business. You're going to turn some people off. You're going to piss some people off as well, right? But at the same time, you're going to attract some people who are really go hard for you. They connect with you. They get it. They vibe with you because you decided to show up authentically, or have a specific cause that your brand is being established around. Hope that makes sense. If that makes sense to you all, put me in the comments. Let me know that that is registering for you. So that's one of the things we do. We take our clients through what's called the brand clarity track and get super clear about who they are, who their perfect people are, right? Who they are as a brand. Because from that space, everything that you do, when you've identified who you are as a brand, everything you do is simple, because you can say, okay, that's in alignment. That's not in alignment with who I am as a brand. So this is one of the ways we help clients inside 3D Success Academy to, get to the space of their six-figure mark or beyond. The second way we help is through simplification. Now, I so believe in multiple revenue streams. I actually, in my mastermind, help my clients to, create a new stream of revenue, hire staff, all the things when they're ready to scale their business. But what I see a lot of is brands that are doing so many things that nobody really knows what it is that they do. Or maybe they've just gotten to the stage where someone has gotten comfortable. So people normally have to see you 7 to 14 times before doing business with you now. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes people immediately invest. We all have those times in our business. But on the average, studies show that people need to see you 7 to 14 times. And if they've seen you 5 times and they're consistent, they're flowing, they're thinking about it, and then you switch up on them again, you either confuse them or you lose them. They don't know how it is that you can help them. And so I believe in the process of simplifying, like getting really clear about that thing that you're great at, getting really clear about, your brand, your messaging, all of those things, so that you can attract your perfect people. So we help you to simplify, and we help you simplify, gain a foundational structure and strategy, right? Simplify, gain a foundational structure and strategy. So the simplification is when we're identifying your zone of genius. Did you know you have a zone of genius? So you have something unique to you, something that you've overcome, something that you've gotten really good at, a level of expertise that is your area of genius. And when you can identify that, you can either delegate everything else out or, just begin putting more of your focus on that particular thing. I'm gonna give you guys an example. So my conversion rate in my emails, with my email marketing, has doubled since January of this year. And one of the things I did at the end of last year, and I do this, at least once a year, maybe twice a year, just kind of reflect, see where I'm at. Look at how I've evolved, and I look at, what is it that I no longer want to do? What is it that's no longer necessary for me to do? And also, what is it that I feel really great doing as I'm building my business? So many of you know we can do podcasts, we can do blogs, we can do live streams, we can do pre-recorded videos, we can do YouTube. There's so many different things that we can do in our business. And oftentimes, as you're building your business, you'll find yourself attempting to do all the things. And what happens for you most often is you just get frustrated with it all. You're like, I just don't want to do all of this stuff, and it's perfectly okay. And so for me, I just really identify what part of this do I love. Like, I realize that I love to write, right? And so I'm not like the best writer, but I love writing and I'm good at writing. And so I knew that if I put my focus on writing, I'd get even better, right? And it allowed me to eliminate some of the other things that I was doing in my marketing and advertising that were out of alignment, with who I am. And because I did that, because I put more of my focus there, and I've gotten more consistent with my emails, more consistent with my blogs, my conversion rate, both for actually getting clients and actually my conversion rate for people even opening the emails has doubled, right, since January. And so I share that with you because I think sometimes we look so far outside of ourselves to do, what we're seeing around us, and they aren't in alignment with what we're good at or what we even want to do. And we don't give ourselves permission to really get clear and define what our thing is. So we help you do that inside the academy. So if blogging is your thing, there are trainings on blogging, designing your website, live stream, all those things. And then you determine, and they aren't there so that you can do all the things. They're there so you can identify what your areas of genius are. And when you get to a certain space, you could even have someone else pretty much doing your blogs and things like that for you, right? It would have to be somebody who has learned your voice and your brand and understands who you are. And maybe they are taking, if videos or live streams are something that you do, maybe they are transcribing your videos and turning them into blog posts for you. So it doesn't have to be something that you do for yourself, but finding out what your thing is super important, especially in those stages from 0 to 6 figures. Because I find that people do so much that they burn out before they actually reach that next level goal that they have, because their process isn't simplified. They don't have structures in place, and your structure can be things like, what activities are you going to consistently do in order to attract clients and customers into your business. So we help you with simplifying your whole process, your structure, and then giving you the strategy to go with it. So we can say, cut this out, but then, what do I do next? So that's one of the ways that we help our clients get to their six-figure mark or six figures and beyond with ease. With ease, because that's really the goal, guys, right? To get to it with ease. It doesn't mean we don't put in any work, but so many people are putting in unnecessary work, right? Because they're doing like all the things, and all the things are not in alignment with who they really are, right? We have a track called Discovery, and it's a blessing for your business, but for your life as well, right? So simplification, structure, and strategy. So I was saying that when you are consistently doing a lot of things, you're confusing the customers, right? You're continuously switching lanes, and your audience begins to get confused. Like, okay, what do they do? So determining how you're going to show up is important, and that can be in a very simplified process where you're not overwhelmed and consumed. That's my goal, to get you where you're not confused or overwhelmed or consumed, right? Because time freedom is one of my top 5 values, and most of the people I work with, it's a huge value for them as well on their path to financial freedom. They want time freedom as well. That was super important to me when I built my second business, which is my coaching and consulting business. I owned a brick and mortar service-based business for 10 years prior to coaching and consulting. And I knew off gate that I was going to have productive rest time. And productive rest are those times where, like the months of July and December, I don't coach during those months. And I just set my business up to make the revenue that I needed in a 10-month time frame. And I think it's important that you decide what it is that you want, because it then gives you strategy for what you actually need to be doing. I was speaking with someone the other day who wanted to possibly get a building for what it is that they want to do. And one of the questions I asked them is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, is this going to be a great investment for what you want to do long term? See, this is all of that, is branding. And this is the reason we find ourselves doing things, and then 3 months later, we're switching it up and we've invested all this money because it's not connected to like a long-term vision. So how will you show up? That's how we help you decide. And it can be authentically, who you are. I knew for me, so I'm a girly girl, but I get dirty too. So I work in the garden. Today, my daughter and my little cousin rode bikes. We went for a walk the day before. Did we go yesterday? The day before that. So I kind of like some outdoors time as well. And it was important to me as I was, building my brand this time, that I could show all of those aspects, of who I am in hats or, in dresses and heels, because it's very much a part of who I am and the part that I share of myself online. And many of you aren't giving yourselves permission to be who you really are, because you're watching other people's way of doing it and feeling compelled to have to do it the same way. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. You can do it on your own terms, as you're building your brand and attracting your perfect people. I just think having a structure and a system, putting a structure and a system to who you are and how you want to develop and grow your brand is super important. And then lastly, the last thing I'll share about how we help clients to reach their 6 figures and beyond in their business with greater ease is through disciplines. So most often, what you're feeling when you're possibly saying to yourself, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I don't know if I really want to do this. It's resistance. It's resistance to what you really desire to build, and it's going to show up. But there are things that you can do. There are disciplines that you can learn and you can take on that will help you with that resistance when it shows up. So maybe you've been operating as, a one-man band. You've just been doing it all. Maybe you've been, consuming information and just constantly trying new things to the point where, every few months you're making a new decision about what you want to do in your business, or you're saying, I don't think this is what I want to do. Get the help that you need. Get the help that you need in your business. Get the structures and systems so you can stop stopping, right? Because what all that does when you're stopping and starting is it makes you say, I don't think I want to do this. I'm going to go do something completely different. Take time to get in a space where you can really identify your zones of genius, which is what I help you with, your things, so you can get into flow instead of, being undecided about, how you want to show up and what it is that you really and truly desire. So I've done something special for April, not the entire month of April, but I've made my 3D Success Academy like super easy to enroll. So it is a premium offer. However, I've made it available for you to pay a deposit of only $97 in order to join the Academy. And I've also added the option to pay weekly. So normally it's either monthly, a 2-pay, 3-pay, or a one-time fee. But for the next 7 days, so until the 7th of April, the weekly option is available and your deposit is $97. So normally your deposit at the lowest is maybe $400 or $500. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, so that is going on. That's my blessing to you for the month of April. And for those of you who are really looking to get out of overwhelm, to get out of confusion, you're tired of consuming information, you're tired of being on all the platforms. Like you're at the point where you barely even want to be on social media, when there should be some joy about you being on social media if you have a business, because you're serving the people that you really want to help, because you're meeting the goals that you really desire, right? And those are the platforms that you use to do them. So for those of you, if you're like, I don't even want to be on social media anymore, it's clarity that you need about your zone of genius, your brand, the right systems, the right structures, so that you don't have to be on it all the time, but your time that you are on it is more pleasurable. And I'd love to help you with that. Again, the opportunity for weekly pay options ends on the 7th of May. It's something that is not a normal option to be able to pay weekly to join the Academy, and $97 as a deposit is something I've never done for the Academy. So you would pay your deposit, and depending on which option you choose, let me put that link in the comments for you. Depending on which option you choose, your recurring payments would start after that. You can go to renewfullcircle.com/3D, renewfullcircle.com/3D. Again, this offer is not something I've done for the Academy, having such a simple, easy investment for the deposit, just making it a little easier for those of you who have, been wanting to join, to be able to join and then pay with a weekly option if you desire, but it ends on the 7th. So you do have to make your decision by then. And yeah, so there are many ways to get to 6 figures. I love to support you in a way that simplifies it, that's in alignment with who you are, that helps you attract your perfect people. It makes this whole thing a lot simpler, right? A lot simpler than having to do all the things. Are there any questions that anyone has. RenewFullCircle.com/3D. RenewFullCircle.com/3D. Again, that ends on the 7th. You start immediately. You get access immediately to a portal. So there's a bonus portal inside the academy, and you have access to that immediately, followed by trainings. We do weekly trainings, and then every second and fourth week, we do a live group coaching call. So if you have questions about what you're learning or strategy and things of that nature, I'm there to support you in that. So it's many ways to get to 6 figures. We can hustle our way to 6 figures, or we can do it with grace and ease. I love to support you in a way that's going to be more in alignment with who you are, with the people that you really want to serve, how you want to show up, and the results that you actually desire for your business. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed in your process of building your brand, maybe it's been taking a lot longer than you had anticipated, and you've been about every 3 months changing your mind about whether or not it's what you want to do, clarity will shift all of that. And I love to support you in getting clarity, simplifying your processes, getting your time back, and making more money as you're building your brand. That's my take on today, guys. I appreciate you all.